Round one of the VFL continued at Victoria Park. David Rees-Jones and myself travelled down here, and it's always good fun for you, isn't it, Rees, to come here to see the Magpies play. Today, they took on North Ballarat, and the Collingwood side on paper looked so strong, didn't it?
Yes, it certainly did, and it's a lot more fun to come down there these days than it was many years ago. But look, with Dale Thomas, Didac, Fasolo and co in tow in there, and Cracker as well, they had a very, very good team on paper, but North Ballarat come out hard. They attacked the goal hard early and really did take up all the running, a lot of inside 50s. But you knew the Collingwood machine was just going to take over at some stage, and they were a bit too good in the end. They
were too good in the end, but as you said, it wasn't that way for the entire four quarters. The first quarter in particular, you could tell it was a round one game, couldn't you? The sides were scrappy. They didn't quite know their structures. The skills weren't quite as developed as they would be a little bit later on in the season. So the players had to show some maturity to work through that. Yeah,
which was a little bit surprising, given we saw a highly skilled match last week with Werribee and Port Melbourne. But it was scrappy, and look, the quality of play was, you know, when it got in Dale Thomas's hands, for example, it was exquisite. I mean, he is just a very, very good footballer, and set up goals and just did the things that you expect him to do. Look, they battled hard, Collingwood. They missed a few easy goals themselves early on, so they should have probably been a lot further in front of quarter time. But they were able to just dominate most of the match, and they were too good.
We just saw a couple of pieces of play there. Alex Fasolo and Kyle Martin kicking goals, snapping them around their body. They were able to capitalise on those occasions and on others from errors that North Ballarat were able to make. And as you said, even though they couldn't perhaps put the score on the board early, they were later in the game. And Kyle Martin, we see here with a second goal, he ended the day with 3, was particularly impressive and probably the best of the non-senior AFL players, if I can term it like that, for the Pies.
No, he's very polished, and we've seen he is a very good player at this level. But when you win the clearances and the contests, and that's what they did, right with Hudson and Witts in the ruck against Searle, and Black was thrown in there. I mean, North Ballarat just didn't have a ruck presence, and they lost the clearances and they lost the match mainly because of that.
Any positives for North Ballarat? The margin in the end was 52 points. They did pepper the goals, but they were inaccurate as well.
Yeah, look, I mean, they're very well coached, I suppose, but they're lacking some real quality big men in their team, and that's where I think that they're really going to suffer throughout the course of this year. So, look, it's going to be a long year for them, but as I mentioned, they're well coached and they'll try hard. They won't give up in any games, but might not be good enough.
There is the final siren which signalled the end of this match, and Dale Thomas was best on ground for the Collingwood Footy Club. He had over 20 possessions and used them all particularly well as they ran out winners in the end, 16-11, 107 to the North Ballarat Roosters, 6-19, 55.